Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I'm back. 2 days in a row. I don't know what y'all did to deserve this. And it's very early. It's like just right after 7 a.m. here. I'm on my way to work. And I'm tired because I'm working on my little side project. It was close to midnight when I got to bed, and it was 5:30 when I got up, when my alarm went off, to get up and go to work. So that's not going to be fun. It's a lovely job where I do something I don't like while surrounded by people that don't really like me. Some of them have even made sure I know it. I've got a couple things I really want to talk about, and this has been big news the past week or so. The first one is the Alex Jones getting kicked off all the major, or a lot of the major social media networks. The second one is the Donald Trump star on the Walk of Fame. Let me get started. There's probably going to be some people be like, aha, we found fault with him. Well, let me tell you something. If you've seen my other videos and you're just, especially my single ones, and you're just now trying to, just now think you're going to find fault with me, you haven't been paying attention. There's plenty of reasons to have fault with me. But let's get started on Alex Jones. There's a lot of people saying that kicking him off these social media networks, that's infringing upon his First Amendment right. No, it isn't. Now, I know there's some people trying to sue him because he's been voicing his opinions on things, trying to shut him up, and that is. I don't agree with some of what he says, a lot of what he says from what I've seen. I kind of think he's a bit of a fear-mongering piece of crap at times. I said at times, there's times, that's kind of what he is. But I guess it comes with being a conspiracy theorist, is you're going to have people thinking that way about the things you say and do. It comes with the territory. Trying to silence him through lawsuits, yes, as an infringement upon his First Amendment rights. He has the right to question the government. He has the right to question the narratives. Literally, the foundation of this country was people questioning the government that existed at that time. Quite literally, but being kicked off the social media network sites, Facebook and whatnot, no, that is not an invasion of his First Amendment rights. He can still say what he wants wherever it is that they'll have him. The thing is, places like Facebook and YouTube, they have the right to decide who is on their platform that they own. Now, if they were government-owned platforms, that would be different. But they're not. They're owned by corporations, and yes, some that are some degree traded publicly, but they still are ultimately privately owned. You've got majority owners, or individuals with large ownership, and they get to, that's the board of directors and everything else. So yes, they get to decide ultimately they can decide what content they want on their site. That's their right. They decided finally they didn't want him on there after all these years. They have, like I said, they have the right to do that. I have no issue with that aspect. Even the fact that they let him do it for years, they can change their policy as they see fit, especially if they have a lot of investors or sponsors and whatnot that get upset. They can do that. I have no issue with it. What I do have issue with is There are people using these same platforms for a lot worse reasons to incite violence. In the case of Facebook, I saw a picture of a black guy holding a gun, calling for the death of white people and police officers. As a white person with a brother that's a police officer, I find that rather offensive and insulting. And I reported it for such. And you know what happened? They determined that picture of the guy holding a gun calling for death to literally calling for death of white people and cops, was not a violation of their community standards. But being a right-wing conspiracy theorist apparently is. I take issue with that. Calling for and inciting violence is not protected under the First Amendment. It ain't. Calling for and inciting violence should not be tolerated by any platform. And we're not talking about fighting against a corrupt government. We're talking about, I don't like white people. I don't like police officers. Kill them all. That's literally what the message was. But that's fine in their eyes. And it is not fine. No, it's not. So the fact that they would allow something like that, but not allow Alex Jones to spout his crap, that does bother me, and that is, in my not so humble opinion, wrong. It shows a bit of a double standard, quite a bit of a double standard. I don't support that. And it's kind of the same thing with the Donald Trump star on the Walk of Fame. If you don't know, the West Hollywood city commission or whatever it was, voted to have his star removed, although they said it was not ultimately their decision, but they said that they wanted it removed because of the main reasons: the way he treats women and some of the things he has said. I don't agree with a lot of the things he said. But it's kind of hard for me to justify the whole saying the way he treats women when you've got people over the past 2 years. What's been the biggest stories out of Hollywood? It's been a rape culture. I mean, here just a few months ago, we found out there were Hollywood stars with working in a sex slave ring, or running a sex slave ring. And Harvey Weinstein, however you want to pronounce it, I think it's Weinstein, that's what I'm going to say, but not only had he been basically raping people for decades, everyone knew it. They admitted they knew it. They said everyone knew it. And instead of doing anything about it, what did they do? Well, they did do something about it. They went along with it. They covered up for it. They provided women to him. Yeah, you can argue, oh, we did it for our jobs, but what kind of job is worth having where you have to feed young girls to the sexual predator? I'm pretty sure his star, I think he has a star on the Walk of Fame, and I think it's still there. Same with Bill Cosby. He got busted for doing stuff like that. Where's the outrage? Yes, Trump is a sexual deviant, and yes, he's paid people off. But among the rich and famous, It's the norm. It legitimately is the norm. I mean, we live in a society where drugs and killing people and everything else won't get your star removed, but having even being a full-out sexual predator, that stuff won't get your star removed, but being a pervert and kind of overpaying for sex and spouting opinions that they may not agree with is. And they didn't go into specifics with that. They just, at least on the article I read, they just said, oh, the way he's treated women and some of the things he said. I think a lot of... Now, you have to keep in mind, he's playing the politician's game, so a lot of the things he's been saying in the political aspect has been full-out pandering. Do I think he believes a lot of the things he says? No. But do I think what he has done warrants trying to get his star removed? No. There's been people that's done a whole lot worse, and there's no talk of removing their star from the Walk of Fame. If you want to set a standard, but apply it to everyone. And they're not doing that. And that... I just don't agree with that. Don't hold... And I guess, yeah, to an extent he should be held to a higher standard because he is president, but... And in the political realm, yes, he should be held to a higher standard, but he's not. That star was not given to him because of his political career. It has been part of his entertainment career. And in the realm of the entertainment field, there's been a whole lot worse. I mean, let's face it, there has been. And we know that everyone knows it's going on. So, and I don't see what the issue is. I would say, if I were going to justify removing Trump's star from the Walk of Fame, it would be because people keep defacing it and, taking pickaxes to it and whatnot. And that causes the expense of having to replace it. But that's one issue. But the second issue is that causes health hazards because you have, damage to a sidewalk. If you wanted to justify removing it for those grounds, yes, I could fully support that. Although I would fully support just advocating not defacing the property, but I mean, that ain't going to happen. And even if they did say that, there'd be people still do it. So if you voted to at least temporarily remove the wall star for that reason, I could support that. And if after a few years after he's out of office and it kind of blows over, yeah, I could see putting it back. No fanfare or anything, just slip it back. Probably no one will say or do anything because he'll be out of the limelight. But don't say, well, he's just a piece of crap who treats women, who said some bad things about women and treated them wrong. Don't use that as justification when, like I said, there's people who have done a lot worse. And that's the same with Alex Jones. There's people that said and posted a lot worse that are still on the same social media networks. You either get rid of them all, or you can't just, apply the same standards to everyone. You either get rid of them all, or you keep them all. The choice is yours. That's my message to the people making these decisions. But we have my statement as far as the choice of the people watching this video, the individuals watching this video, is you have to determine if you're willing to support these entities that are setting up this double standard. Right now, there's no real alternatives to YouTube and Facebook. Maybe this will be what's needed to create some platform other than those where that can become a real competitor that will give people the option. I don't know. I wish it would. But it doesn't seem to be happening up to this point. And for the record, no, I'm not going to be getting off of YouTube or Facebook and protest. There's no real alternative. And while, to my knowledge, there's no one on my Facebook page that's on my YouTube and vice versa, there are people on each platform that I do like to interact with occasionally, and I'm going to stay on it just for that, if for no other reason, that purpose. I mean, there's literally people I've never met that I'm closer to than my own family, even my co-workers especially. So yeah, I'm not going to be getting off of these sites, but I'm still going to point out the hypocrisy of the nature. And we all have the choice. Some people are going to get off for these reasons. Some people are going to push to have an alternative or even change the platforms. Some people are probably going to try to create an alternative platform. I don't know what's going to happen. What I do know is what they're doing is flat out hypocrisy, and any sensible human being should not tolerate that double standard. If they're going to have standards, which they should, they need to be applied to everyone equally and fairly. Anyway, that's my opinion on the matter. I'm going to get on off here. I'm about to the interstate. I'm going to get off here and make my way to work so I can put it in a good solid 8 to 9 hours worth of work that I really don't want to do, but I'm underemployed and I can't seem to move up and find a job anywhere else any better. So you got to do what you got to do, which ties into my challenge. You got to do what you got to do. Anyway, I'm about to interstate. Later.